bumper to bumper, we love them old cars.
Sam, g'day and welcome to Bumper to Bumper. How you going?
Yeah, good, Rusty.
Now, you're from Showfront. And what does Showfront do?
Now, Showfront, we make showcases and display cabinets. We deliver them all around the country, and we service a lot of different markets and industries, and everything from retail to museums, schools, government departments, and collectors.
Now, how long have Showfront been in business for?
We've been in business for over 25 years, making display cases and showcases. We've operated out of Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane.
Terrific. Now, today you've actually brought me to a collector, and this is not just your everyday collector, but this is a person who actually has a deep passion for all types of models.
That's right, Rusty. We're lucky that we get to meet some fantastic people along the way, and brought you to Colin's place. Colin is an old customer of Showfront's, who has an incredible passion for collecting models, making models, and we'll show you in a moment, but Colin has been collecting for a number of years, and has an incredible range of models. He came to us a few years ago. The range wasn't as big as what it is now. It's obviously grown, with quite a specific request in regards to what he wanted, quite particular with what he wanted, and we were able to design a range of cabinets that suited his collection, and also suited his home and room where he was going to put the cabinets in.
So one of the beauties about Showfront is that you actually do manufacture, but you custom make as well. And I think that's integral because obviously each customer's requirements is different. And later when we go and speak to Colin, you'll notice how different and how specific this is, because this is one unique design.
Absolutely. Customisation is very important. Most of the cabinets we make are a little bit different, and are designed to suit particular needs and customer needs. So we're not just an out-of-the-box cabinet maker, showcase manufacturer. We will customise and build our cabinets to your requirements. And Colin is a perfect example of what we've been able to do and assist him in displaying his collection.
Well, I can't wait to take everyone from bumper to bumper around to see Colin's collection, because it is just massive and it's displayed so professionally, and the display cases look fantastic. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Likewise, mate.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, see you, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay, Colin, g'day and welcome to Bumper to Bumper. How are you going?
Rusty, pleased to meet you and welcome to my collection.
Well, let me say, first of all, I'm very pleased to meet you, and I've just had a quick look around at your collection and it's fantastic. But before we get into that, what started you off collecting in the first place, and how old were you?
I was in my teens and my father introduced me to model building with aircraft because he had an interest in that.
Yeah.
It developed from there, but when truck models came along in the 70s, I drifted over to that because I'd lived in a family earning its living from a truck.
Yeah.
And it was a natural progression, so I was involved in watching Caterpillar machinery working around the truck, and the collection is based around all of that.
All right, so what are the main themes of your collection?
Truck building is mainly, and model building. You start with a basic kit, modify, scratch build, do what you can to make what you would like to appear on the shelves. Since I've retired, I've drifted into collecting because there's a lot of stuff I won't have the time to build and it's not available in kits, but there's some spectacular collectibles around, and I wanted to make a collection that was worth enjoying and for friends and other modellers to see.
All right. Now, the range of products on display here, you've got planes, you've got trucks, and you've got plant equipment as well. Can you tell me just about why you've gone down this direction and these types of things? Obviously, it's an interest to you.
Well, it was a normal background, I suppose, with my parents owning out of trucks, so trucks became an interest. The machinery, Caterpillar machinery particularly, was an interest. But I was also interested in aircraft, and I followed a career in the aviation industry. So I've got a little bit of a trial down memory lane with the collection I've put together from older aircraft through to current stuff. But I don't build aircraft to the same degree that I chase the trucks. But I'm pretty pleased with what I've got, and it's a good cross-section of everything that's interested me along the way.
And that's most important, because if you've got an interest in something, then obviously you will collect that and put that in a display case. How many items do you actually have in total?
On display here at the moment, I think it's about 1,600 according to my databases.
Now, you are very particular about your not only model making, but also about the cataloguing of the models you actually have too. So take us through that.
Well, it's fairly important. Some models are fairly cheap and mass-produced, and others are extremely rare. And some there, like that cabinet, only a few hundred in the world, and have been made for special collections, limited editions. So, because they're very valuable, I've got to keep track of it, and my family needs to know those sort of important things too. But they don't sell a very expensive thing for a cheap price.
All right. Now, you make a lot of the models yourself. Why have you gone down that track? Because obviously you like to tinker and customise as well.
Yeah, that's the challenge of see something you'd like to make, or I identify a vacancy in my collection, especially the trucks, and think something good would come out of that. So I'll start planning on it. The thought bubble starts, and you work towards it, and then acquire the appropriate kits and the aftermarket components. There's some very good suppliers. I deal with Oslo Model Accessories extensively, because his products are excellent.
Yeah.
So I've utilised those a lot, and that helps to transform a basic kit into something special that you want it to be. And so I follow through from there. And once one is finished, you have a little spell for a while, and then a new seed will sort of germinate in the mind, and you'll go down another path with another challenge.
Now, some people might see this as a sickness, but I see it as a passion. How long would it actually take you to actually build a normal model?
Depends how much time you can put into it. Now that I'm retired, I can sometimes spend 6, 8, 10 hours a day when I really get going, but sometimes it might get left for a while. There's a couple of models here I've taken a year to build, but that means I had a couple of months off in the meantime.
Yeah.
So it does vary. I don't like catalogue hours done.
Oh, I thought you might there, Colin.
No, I'm not that far into it. No, but some of them I can knock over in a few months, but that's a spare time sort of a hobby. That's not a priority. But some take longer and some are easier, so it varies a lot.
All right. Now, once we go through the display and show people at home the display cases you actually have and the models you have, you've actually displayed them in sequence as well as scale model, and also the type and manufacturer. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've tried to keep things in perspective, and my primary aim was to display them in their scales, so everything looks correct in respect to its neighbour. When you mix scales, it gets out of proportion and looks a little bit mixed. So I've tried to expand into that, but some of the aircraft models, I've put them in chronological order, older aircraft sequencing through to current day.
Yes.
And some of those I worked with to a degree. The other collections, like the Caterpillar collection, it's a little bit all over the place, because some of the scale, some are old, some are new. So that does vary. The trains are what interested me, down when I was younger. Some we've travelled on, and then some are the more modern types that are around. So it flows through into a degree of logic.
All right. Now, some of the other things you've actually done is made signs up yourself for these particular things, and I suppose with the software packages out there now, it's made it a lot more easier for you as well.
Yeah, I've acquired an Alps decal printer, and it's superseded technology now, but I've acquired sufficient inks, and I enjoy making some of my own decals. I'm not into it commercially, as some are making very extensive decal selections, but I do the small stuff for my own models to enhance them.
And when you mean enhance them, you mean by obviously to make the actual truck or whatever better, but also that the decal itself can actually then, you can customise that to suit whatever you want for every model, because you've actually brought a range of different, let's say torque trucks only, specific to trucks that you've seen that you like.
Yeah, that's where the interest lies. Something as you see a real one on the road and say, I can make one along that line. Might not be exact, but you can make one there and you can customise it. Even if I use a fictitious name on the door, I can customise that. I've put a mural on a few where I can import a picture, turn it into a waterslide decal and enhance the thing there. But especially the very small writing, I can get decals down to 1mm and still be readable.
Yeah.
So those small details actually improve a model no end.
You're just so passionate about this, it's unbelievable, because obviously not only making the models and displaying them, but actually, you know, that finite work that's required to really finish off a truck, I suppose, as well.
Bumper to bumper, we love them old cars.
Now, let's talk about the actual house we're in. This is just your normal residence of home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've done some I'll get that right, folks. Specific. Thank you, Colin. Work on this home.
Yes, yeah. We built a home about 2005 in our last place, and the deal with my wife was the rumpus room was mine, and I had a very eclectic collection of model cabinets, some second-hand and a couple built. They were a bit of a mixture.
Yeah.
So as we got settled into that house, I eyed off this situation. I thought, I've got to get these models shown up in a better light. So a little bit of research work pointed me towards Showfront. And I went along and had a talk to them, and Michael was very passionate about the idea of supplying what I'd like in a customised form. I couldn't go above 2 metres high to get through doors. I didn't want storage space at the bottom. I wanted maximum shelf space.
Yeah, okay.
And also very specific shelf spacings to fit models. So some of them are pretty close to the limit.
Yeah.
And they were helpful at every point, and all the different styles of how they do it. And we settled on the design you see here. So they were perfect. They supplied and delivered to our other house. And then after a while we decided on a change of scenery and leave suburbia into a more leisurely lifestyle. We searched out and found a house that could be modified or extended to accommodate what I would like my collection to become. So this is an extension on the house. We put 8 metres on the back of this place.
You wanted 10?
I wanted 10, but I was only allowed 8.
8's pretty big though.
Yeah, so then became the problem of moving stuff. So a good friend and I hired a high-ace van, and we did multiple trips up and down the road because I repacked everything I could into boxes and protected all my models, parked them out in that other room. And when our moves of house, the furniture removalists expressed a very strong nervousness about handling glass cabinets.
And how many did you have?
There were 8 of the Showfront ones in the first house.
8, you know, 8 by 2 metres long by about 2 metres high.
They vary, a couple are smaller than that, but some are big, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to Michael, and he said the Showfront team would gladly move them for me, and they said they actually preferred to do that, which really got me enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And they first said, because we're vacating one house before this was finished, Michael suggested that they'd take them back to the factory and refurbish them to their new designs. So they did that, took them all back to the factory, held them all over. I'd done a lot of design work on this room, and I worked out there was room for 7 more cabinets. So I asked them, could they do that? So they pulled all the specifications out of their archives and built 7 more to the sizes I wanted to fit this room. So eventually, when time came to move, they delivered all of them and set them up for me. It was just brilliant work.
And you actually, when you had them refurbished, the existing ones you have, incorporated new technology into the display cases as well.
Yeah, they changed all the halogen lights into LEDs, which are brilliant.
Yeah.
They've added the strip lighting down the sides, which really gets more illumination into the lower shelves.
Yes.
And the metal strips on the edge of the glass doors is much easier to operate than the straight finger grips, because the glass doors are very heavy.
And you've been very meticulous about this, haven't you?
We designed it carefully. I wanted to get it so it would enhance the models perfectly.
Yeah.
I've got a bit more room between the cabinets than I had at the previous house, so it gives you better viewing, and we got it all done the way we wanted it. To make it easier for Showfront team to deliver, I had the builder leave a large panel out of the side wall beside the driveway,
Yeah.
and the carpenters put a drawbridge in, and everything came in through the side wall. So when all the cabinets were in, they came in sequence, so to minimise, shunting.
Yes.
And
We're speaking of trays, of course.
yeah, of course, yes, exactly. And the builders then put the panel in the wall, the plaster and painter finished the room off. So I've taken photos of that, so should the cabinets have to come out when I'm no longer on the scene, then whoever's got to do that job can do it relatively easily.
Unbelievable, just the amount of thought that you've gone into to just have this room to display to the maximum benefit of the models itself. Is the credit to yourself.
Thank you. It was what I wanted to achieve, and I'm really pleased that I have achieved it, and it's really important that Showfront's products have really done the job. They've enhanced everything, and the illumination of the cabinets sets them off to the best of degree, and I'm just wrapped in it, to put it honestly, and I get a real buzz out of other modellers and people who are interested, as like yourself, to see things like this shown in the best possible light. A lot of them are fairly rare, and they're not that common to come across, so you don't see them that often. Most of these in the Caterpillar collection are mass produced, but these are limited edition ones there.
Yeah.
And there's only a few hundred in the world, so it sort of makes them fairly special.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel pretty good.
Well, good. I'm glad that you feel good, because it is a passion, and you do it because you love it. That's the most important thing, I suppose.
Yeah, like every modeller does too.
Yeah. Now, one other thing I wanted to ask you about, this passion of yours, how does it sit with the wife?
She tolerates it. I'm allowed to do what I like in this room, but I don't think I'm allowed to put a cabinet out in the other room.
No?
Yeah, but our previous house, because we'd agreed on me having the rumpus room, it really restricted the rest of the house. So that's why we chose to do the extension on this place. So I had my corner of the world that didn't sort of impose on the rest of the house. So it's still a house livable with family and visitors without sort of having this sort of getting in the way all the time.
Yeah.
So, and plus, if it was like that, my display wouldn't be shown off to the best advantage if it was sort of here and there in hallways.
Yeah, no, very true, actually, very true.
So by having a specific custom designed room, it gives it the best possibility. So we've achieved that.
No, you have it. You have in spades. Colin, I want to say thank you very much for being on Bumper to Bumper.
Thank you, Rusty.
This is one impressive display room of your models that you've built and brought yourself, so well done.
Thank you very much. I really enjoy it, and I'm happy to share it.
Terrific, thank you.
Bumper to bumper, we love them old cars.